I too watched Kindergarten Cop and loved it. And when my aunt asked me years ago, when maybe I was turning 8 or 9, she was like, so Ness, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, a sex machine. And she looked at me and she was like, what? And I was kind of like, went outside, my dad was having a cigarette and I was sitting there with him and he was like, don't worry, she doesn't get our sense of humour. And I was like, yeah, I didn't mean to embarrass myself or anything. He was like, it's fine, it's fine. She's just not where we're at. I lost my mum at a pretty young age. I was 13 from cancer. She got ovarian cancer when I was 8. And in those few years, I kind of, I guess, listened to everything she said pretty deeply and held on to it pretty tightly. And one of the things that she said to me was be a good friend to women. And so in that, I was like, I've got to be as best a friend to as many women as possible. And over the years, I'd end up in these D&Ms with my good friends. And it was about often traumatic experiences regarding sexuality. And that being a hugely variant scale, but everyone never having talked out loud about these experiences. And me loving that space, feeling privileged that they were sharing with me, but also I couldn't believe that we didn't have a place to celebrate sexuality and we were holding on to all this stuff so deeply. Mia Muse started pretty much, I lived in America from 16 to 20 and my friends there were really liberal and bought me a vibrator and that was all fine, like, yeah, masturbate in your room, all good, I'm going to class, let me know how it goes, that kind of vibe. And then I got back to Australia and I was, feeling liberated and in love with women, but not sexually yet. Then, so yeah, I went to my friend's fuck-aware party and I was like, this is amazing, I'm gonna have one. And so 30 women rocked up at my house on a Thursday afternoon. We got really wild. If you sold over like $1,500 worth of sex toys, crap sex toys, a stripper would come. So, I was getting the whole dance as the host of the party. And I thought at the time, this was like a perfect space to open up the dialogue around sexuality. So what does sexuality mean to me? It means deeply connected to my body, but also my energy. So the energy that I'm putting off. And for me, that comes through a spiritual, energetic practice and also presence. So I think presence is the greatest gift you can give to yourself around even your emotions and self-compassion. Presence is also the greatest gift you can give to a lover. You can't be present, you can't be a really good lover if you feel like, if you're completely in your head around sex. And so if sex is coming from, oh, I need to connect, I need to look good, I want to be a good lover, I want to get you off, let me give you an orgasm, whatever. That's all of the mind. If we can kind of sink into the body, which yoga is really good for, dance, any sort of expression where you're feeling your body and you're aware of that, amazing. We can have a lot of sex and it can feel pretty toxic, or we can feel tired, or we can relate that way to get a lot of self-worth. But what does it feel like to have really good sex? And really good sex for me is like, I feel alive and my sexual energy is helping me facilitate a great life or a full expression of myself. I guess that, it's funny because people were like, oh, you must be a sex goddess. And when I was single a few years ago, I was like, oh shit. I'm on the loose and there's all this pressure to be good at sex and what does that look like? So I can even go through all this dialogue. People just assume like I've got some, I don't. I just assume that they assume that I've got an amazing tongue and like magical fingers. So sexuality is all of those things: presence, mindfulness in the body, and reverence and respect for the people that you're interacting with. So I think women are where they are, or women's sexuality is where it is, which is like stigmatized and kind of, I feel like right now we're in this place where we're like ripping off the armor and let's explore this. And the armor comes from Freud, the armor comes from even how our generation was raised through our sexuality was viewed through this male gaze, very externally focused, and in that creates detachment. It's like, look at me, this is all for you, but there is no kind of connection from within. And masturbation and self-love, all of this is really amazing for getting to know yourself, also a lot of self-respect and knowing what you can get up to. But I think we're also always on this journey of getting to know ourselves, and that never stops. And often I just tell women to just get to know themselves in a new way. It's like just start touching your body in different types of touch, and that's all it can be. It's like, are you massaging your breast? Can you massage your vulva? get to know your pussy. It doesn't have to be goal orientated. So much about sex right now is goal orientated, and that's also inclusive of self-love, masturbation. It's just like, yes, you want to get off sometimes, most of the time, but there's something beautiful about just being with how you're feeling and how your body is, and even just shifting energy. Also, my love for vibrators started that way. So my love for the shower head actually started that way. And yeah, I think, and a lot of people are like, can you get addicted to your vibrator? Or is it going to numb out all my nerve endings and is it all over? And it's like, no. Your clip will be fine unless you're like, you know, you're using something untoward. But yeah, if you're using a nice silicone vibrator and you're addicted to it, or you feel addicted to it, I'd say put it down for 2 weeks and just try to get to know yourself in a new way. But yeah, those tools for me really allowed me to understand my capabilities. Like the first time I ever used a vibrator, which was back with my friends in America, not as a group sesh, but they locked me in the room and said, use it. I gushed. So I call it gushing because you can squirt or gush, and it was definitely like a river. But that was like, I'll tell you the story quickly. I'm deep in it. Discretion, So using the vibrator, yeah, good time, woo woo. Go out, and my friends were like, how was it? I was like, yeah, pretty good. And they're like, pretty good. Get back in there. And like, if you get to that point where it's like, oh, keep holding and just go with it. I'm like, all right. So I go back into my room, get to that point, go with it again, and then I'm like, what the fuck is this? Open the window, rip off the sheets, smelt it, all smelt fine, not like urine. And I was like, whoa, called my bestie, was like, I am woman, hear me roar. So the $7 vibrator had like unleashed the beast. I think 18 years of pent up sexual frustration. What I really believe is that we're on this journey and that we're constantly evolving. So if you check yourself and you're willing to kind of learn, amazing. So like being a sexologist is like being good at sex and having that whole story. But yeah, it's also interesting too that this kind of work comes from some sort of, you know, now I teach people how to feel desired, and my work is about feeling desired and exploring healthy sexuality. So that, you know, in my story, that definitely came from feeling unloved or not so sexy or undesired. And whether that was the truth or not, or whether that was just what I was feeling, it has put me in this place now. And I think a lot of our work comes from that kind of what we decided about ourselves when we were young, and then what we decided that we had to prove to ourselves. And I think a lot of people live in that sphere. I struggle with a paradigm of man-woman sometimes. That's actually given me a little fire, probably in the past year, around, okay, I actually really want to explore like the deepest, most divine sex for two women, or, you know, same sex, same gendered relationships, and what that looks like. So I feel passionate about that. I feel really passionate about exploring good toys that can kind of take a practice to the next level as well. Not that you need a toy all the time, but, you know, sometimes I even have a bit of cock envy. I'm like, oh. So if you are struggling, I'd say just let go of how people around you or you yourself have previously defined sex, and know that anything can be part of your sexual practice, especially if you're connecting to your body. And because sensuality and intimacy are this is intimate, to just be able to express it lightly and fully, but you know, with not too much this is how it should be, but really, oh, what does it mean to me? And that might mean just putting on Solange, looking at yourself nude and dancing, you know, one night a week, and that's your sexuality, and that's beautiful and amazing. It's like up to you to define it, but also setting intention around it being part of your practice, I think, is really exciting.